10 common reasons why dating a Filipina fails. In this video I'm going to give you 10 common reasons why dating a Filipina will fail and often ends in disaster. And guess what, guys? Most of the time it's your fault. Looking to date a Filipina or already dating or married to a Filipina? I use my experiences around my relationship with my Filipina wife of 6 years, as well as my professional experience as a qualified relationship counsellor for the past 10 years to help you on your way. Are you after information, tips and resources for a successful relationship with a Filipina and maintain it? Too easy. Just take a second to subscribe and click the bell icon, and I promise you'll never miss out again. Having a small YouTube community, I do see many comments by foreign men who have dated a Filipina and things haven't worked out, and quite often the man is claiming that he's been scammed by a Filipina and has lost a fair bit of money. The stories on YouTube are endless, and I will tell you, most are unfounded, and mostly the foreign men complaining only have themselves to blame for their predicament they find themselves in. And the fact of the matter is that they never stood a chance from the very start because they failed to do what is necessary before even the dating process began. Here is the thing, guys, no matter what woman you enter into a relationship anywhere in any part of the world, and that is through the course of a relationship, it is normal to spend money on the woman and on certain things, from inexpensive items right up to the more expensive items like land, a house, cars and furniture. Now, if a man has been in a relationship for any period of time and the relationship fails, for the most part he has no claim on the things that were given to the woman. Things like jewelry, money, car, bike, land, houses, etc. If they have been given, then they are gifts, and you have no right to make a claim for these things because you may be butthurt and the Filipina has dumped you. You see these types of guys all the time on the Raffy Tulfo Live in Action YouTube channel, and it gets very old. And most of these guys only have themselves to blame because they've made some or all of these 10 common mistakes prior to and when dating a Filipina. The list is not in any particular order, but here we go, guys. Number 1. It's a very common thing that many foreign guys start their search looking in all the wrong places. Many Facebook groups and free dating sites are full of women looking to play love scams on you, and in some cases they may not even be women that you think you are dating. And be sure of this, guys, that you shouldn't even refer to it as dating until you've met the Filipina in person. When you're looking for a Filipina girlfriend, you have to remind yourself that there are many Filipinas who live in poor circumstances and are looking for a foreign man who hasn't done his homework around Filipinas, and these sorts of guys become easy prey for these women. Now, of course, that doesn't mean every Filipina is a scammer. In fact, there are far more good and decent Filipinas out there, but if you're going to where all the love scammers are hanging out, then what is it you're most likely to end up with? And that is someone who only wants your money, and they'll go to extraordinary lengths to make you believe that they're in love with you and make a play bit by bit to get whatever money, items or property out of you. So knowing this, why in the Lord's name would someone go to Facebook groups or free dating sites to find a good and decent Filipina? You may get very lucky, but the odds are stacked against you very heavily. Where finding a good, honest and decent Filipina is concerned, I do believe the saying is true that you do get what you pay for. And when you go to a reputable online dating site such as Christian Filipina, you will pay a fee, but it limits the amount of scammers by the second to none screening process. Sure, some slip through the cracks, but your odds of finding a good and decent Filipina has now dramatically increased. For those of you looking to start your search, check my link in the pinned comment below for the Philippines' #1 dating site. Many men in our community have found great success there, and you can too. And best of all, it's free to create an account and check out thousands of Filipina profiles. Be sure, guys, that searching for a Filipina in any other way is an absolute minefield, and no matter how smart or streetwise you think you are, this world of searching for a Filipina can eat you up and spit you out just as fast. Joining Christian Filipina, you can take your time and find the right Filipina for you, and right here is where many people make a huge mistake and search, as I said, where the majority of love scammers hang out, instead of going to where good and decent girls hang out looking for the man of their dreams. Number 2, guys who rush in a million miles an hour because they can't believe their luck that a cute and gorgeous young Filipina is interested in him. So he gets fooled by her cute ways, smiles and lies like a lovesick schoolboy. She may flash him a little bit of chest every now and again to string him along, and his common sense and all reasoning just flies out the window. The Filipina knows exactly what she's doing, and the man becomes weak under her spell. Realize this, guys, there are millions of beautiful Filipinas out there, but the only ones you're going to find if you rush in too fast are the ones looking for your wallet and bank account. I've said in probably over 100 of my videos, and I wish I didn't need to say it so often, but you need to slow right down. Just because you're apart from each other doesn't mean you need to fast track everything. And for those guys who are in the Philippines, the same rules apply. You don't need to fast track everything, and you need to really slow down. A Filipina who pushes you to fast track in any way is, in my opinion, only looking for a love scam and is in no way worth pursuing. But many guys will be flattered by this beautiful young Filipina's attention as she targets his growing ego. What he doesn't realise at this time is that he has no chance of ever having a proper relationship with this Filipina. And what's even worse, she may even convince him to come to the Philippines and set up house with her, and for him to bring all of his money. And so, like a good little boy, he trots off, money in hand, to the Philippines to buy some land and a house, and along the way giving the Filipina plenty of money. Guys, I really could go on about this for hours, but I'm sure you get the picture. Simply put, slow down and get to know her really well. Most scammers, if they don't get anything within a month or two, they'll be well on their way and they will leave you alone. Number 3, it really is important before you even start your search that you set some rules for yourself and make sure you always stick by those rules. The first rule I would suggest, and the one that will filter the genuine Filipinas from the non-genuine, is never give any amount of money until you have met your Filipina in person. The second rule is if a Filipina asks for money, hints for money by saying that she needs your help or gives you heart-wrenching stories that make you feel compelled to offer money, then run a mile. Run as fast as you can. And a good third rule is to set a time limit as to when you will go and visit her. I always recommend around the 3 to 6 months if everything appears okay. Another rule is, as we've said already, is to slow everything down and not be rushed in any way. You need to be the enforcer of your own rules, or you risk losing out and the relationship failing before it even got going. Rule 4, 5 and 6. I will combine and only briefly talk about them as we've already touched on them in this video. Never hand over money before meeting her. You would be surprised at how many men do give money after a week or two. I will tell you, a good Filipina will never ask or hint for you to give her money. It's that simple and very true. Filipinas are proud people and love to be independent, and it's not part of who they are to ask a relatively new stranger for money. Buying big price items such as expensive jewelry or land or a house before you're even married is financial and relationship disaster waiting to happen. If you give too early, don't complain when the money is gone, and so is the Filipina. Simply put, it's your fault. You need to be responsible for yourself and use that common sense we all know you have. And yes, don't fall for her heart-wrenching stories that her mother or grandmother is very sick, or the electricity will be switched off, or she needs money so her family can eat, and the list will go on and on. Scam, scam, scam is all I have to say, so again, run a mile. Number 7 is failing to do a good amount of research about Filipinas, love scams, red flags, the Philippines in general, and the culture of the Philippines. If you're looking to date a Filipina, you need to know what the differences are, as there are many to that of dating a woman in your own country. You need to know what red flags are and how to spot them when talking to a Filipina. Failure to do your research will almost certainly mean you and your Filipina won't have a happy ending. Number 8 is knowing the red flags and yet failing to see them because you're distracted by the beautiful Filipina, or you just may get careless. Some Filipinas will, for a few weeks, work very hard to gain your trust, so naturally you will let your guard down. Don't fall for this, and some of these sorts of Filipinas are very good at doing this. Always be on the lookout and be very alert as to what is going on at all times. Number 9 is when foreign guys wrongly assume Filipinas are no different from any other woman, and they think they are some sort of expert with women and say a woman could never be good enough to put one over me. This arrogance will be the man's downfall for sure, and the relationship will be doomed from the very start. He won't see any of this coming until he is crying on the Raffy Tulfo show. Number 10 is another assumption that will lead to the relationship with your Filipina to break down, is assuming that Filipinas are easy and they all want you because you're some irresistible foreigner. The ones you're likely to attract are the great-looking Filipinas that want your money. Yes, want your money. They will play with you, get what you can, and discard you and move on to the next gullible and overconfident foreigner. Anyone who has such attitudes will certainly learn the hard way. All these 10 common reasons why dating a Filipina fails is, simply put, in most cases, the man's fault. If he was careful and followed these processes I've outlined and set his own rules and learnt about the information required, he would have found a good and decent Filipina that would absolutely rock his world. Does this mean all relationships that break down with a Filipina is your fault or her fault? No, not at all. Sometimes you may have even taken every precaution and she may not be looking to scam you or go gold digging with you. It may just come about that the relationship with you and the Filipina may not just be working out for one of you or for both of you. This is life, and this happens anywhere in the world. Two good people may not just be compatible for each other. That's life, it happens, and so we move on. For those of you that are looking to date a Filipina in 2020, I've just given you a blueprint to follow that will go a long way for you to find a wonderful Filipina. I hope you follow it and see just how different being in a relationship with a Filipina can be. Remember to check the link on the pinned comment below for the Philippines' #1 dating site. You'll be glad you did. And if you're looking to date a Filipina in 2020, then check my comprehensive playlist on screen now. Feel free to like and share the video, subscribe and press the bell icon for more videos. Thanks for watching. I appreciate your support. Take care and bye for now.